Peace and love, everyone. Coming back to you live with another astrology forecast. I hope your week has been well. I'm definitely excited to get started. Let me know in the comments how your week has went, and did any of those things have a major influence that I covered last week on your life. That way I get good feedback so I can know what's going on and I can know where I need to touch on next time. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the forecast. I'm going to, 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I have them in PowerPoints because my software is still down. Okay, and I have a new laptop, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And this week is from June 7th until the 13th. And I really want to embody the concept of, again, going back to our ancestors and going back to the principle of creating, your own destiny, so to speak. And in order to do that, you have to really know thyself. Okay, and that's what we always start off with. And as you can see, I like to look at this picture as a way to nurture that baby that you're creating. Okay, so we're going to get right on it. Again, we always start off with man know thyself is on all the halls of learning. Man know thyself, and to thyself be true. And as we get started, I want to talk about the word annular, because this is what's coming up this week. We have a annular solar eclipse, the first eclipse of the year. And when we look at the etymology of annular, we're talking about an adjective. It's literally coming from the 1500s, 1570s, and is literally meaning ring-shaped. Okay, it comes from the French annulare, that's from the 16th century, or directly from medieval Latin annularis, pertaining to a ring. Okay, from annulus, misspelled, diminutive of Latin annus, ring. Okay, an annular eclipse from 1727 is one in which the dark body of the moon is smaller than the disk of the sun, so that at the height of it, the sun, due to the moon's remoteness from Earth, appears as a ring of light. Okay, so as you can see on the picture on the screen, this moon right here and sun, okay, eclipsed by this moon, actually forms a ring shape. Okay, and when we're talking about annular, we definitely want to keep in mind throughout this whole presentation about the ring. Okay, and rings represent commitment. Ring represents a vow. Okay, it represents you being committed to something, and this is the outward expression of what's going on inside, right? The commitment that is made. Okay, and when we're talking about a solar, so let's look at the word solar from as an adjective from the mid 15th century, pertaining to the sun, from Latin solaris, of the sun, from sol, sun, from Proto-Indo-European root, sawel, the sun, meaning living room on an upper story. Okay, is from Old English, from Latin solarium. Old English had sunlight solar. Okay, so astrological sense from the 1600s, 1620 to be specific, meaning operated by means of the sun. So this gives you solar power. And when we're talking about solar, we're talking about the solar plexus, right? Which is the complex of nerves in the pit of the stomach. Okay, so when we're talking about solar, we're talking about the solar plexus and those things that rule the desires of the heart. Okay, the will. This is right in the heart of you, each and every one of you. And when we're talking about a annular solar perspective, we're looking at those things that rule you, that's your desires, that leads to long-lasting commitments. Okay, so let's look at eclipse. Okay, it's a noun from the 1300, from Old French eclipse, darkness, from the 12th century, from Latin eclipsis, from Greek ekalypsis and eclipse and abandonment. Okay, literally a failing, forsaken. Okay, I just want to touch on this word real quick. Abandonment. We know a lot of times when you're dealing with foreclosures and you're dealing with mortgage fraud, that a lot of times they try to have forced evictions and you have to fill out a 1099A. And that 1099A is an abandonment, right? And of course, we can relate to that easily as nationals, Moors, or even if you're not a Moor. A lot of people experience this, but how many times or how often do you look at the 1099As that's filled out for your life, okay, for your purpose? Okay, there's a lot of people who are abandoning the um, sole purpose that they were called to carry out in this lifetime. So it's literally forsaken. So a lot of people, they forsake what they came here to do. To forsake as a usual place, fail to appear. You know, we know about the FTAs. Be eclipsed, from ek out, okay, to leave. So a lot of people, they are leaving behind a lot of the things that they came here to carry out. But I like to point this back into the direction of making that commitment from the annular perspective. Okay, and then we look at the solar as rule your will, and then the eclipse, to leave those things that are hindering you from carrying out what you came here to do. And that can be a range of different things, a variety of different things, including yourself. I know a lot of times we like to get rid of a lot of things and different people, but don't forget about how sometimes you can get in the way of that. Okay, so let's look at June 7th. Okay, June 7th on Monday. We have some pretty strong things taking place here. A waning moon in Taurus conjunct Uranus and Taurus. Okay, so both of these planets here definitely giving you a boost. And waning moon in Taurus square Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. So I like to start with the downside this week. The downside, of course, you got to remember that things in the home can be unstable, rocky tomorrow, unconventional, which can lead to a lot of mood swings based on the conditions that you're facing. You can face sudden changes in your emotions and in your opinions. This is where the emotions are suppressed, and there's a rejection to vulnerability and a fear of inadequacy. Okay, so on the upside tomorrow, you can look forward to, if you are living in an unconventional way, there will be an unexpected turn along the way, and this will boost your morale. Okay, and this is a situation where you won't be conforming to the status quo. Okay, so you'll learn how to go along with the process, fall in love with the process, and as you make that commitment, new things will appear that will help you break that status quo. On Tuesday, we have a waning moon that's going void of course from Taurus 1107, and then it enters Gemini at 2:47 p.m. Waning moon that sextiles Neptune in Pisces, and Neptune's at home. A waning moon in Gemini that trines Pluto, that's retrograde in Capricorn, and it's been there for quite some time. Waning moon in Gemini that sextiles Mars in Cancer. And again, Mars is debilitated in Cancer, doesn't like to be there. You have a waning moon in Gemini that squares Jupiter in Pisces, okay? And Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, so it's also home. So here's the downside for that on Tuesday. Don't be overly optimistic about your chances and about the things that you're trying to accomplish. Don't go to any extremes, and definitely don't procrastinate, because this is not a time or a transit that you want to procrastinate. The things that you do here can have a lasting effect into the next eclipse. So the upside, what you definitely can look forward to, is the generosity that you'll feel from the collective. There will be a sea of imagination, and it will be heightened during this time. So the collective capacity to aid fallen humanity will be at an all-time high. And this will allow us to have a deeper connection and relationships. This is a good time to explore the occult, or the function of things, to dive deep and try to see how things work, and the why of things. This is definitely a time for your passion plus enthusiastic hard work and play at the same time. And of course, opportunity for you to enhance your bravery skills. And this is where the support will come in from others who are on the same wavelength when you do go after those things. Then on Wednesday, of course, you have a waning moon in Gemini, which trines Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. And Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius, is the home, but it's retrograde. So there's some work to be done. And there's not much downside, but the upside is emotional maturity, patience, and time for discipline. So it's definitely time for you to continue to look at things from a different perspective. Again, going back to traditional values, which can help you solve new problems that may come up. Your memory and dreams will aid in the problems of this day. So if you have been having psychic dreams, spirit guide dreams, and things of that nature, they may be hinting towards solutions of what's going on in the wake state. Strong instincts to guide your kindred at this time. You definitely will be more in tune with people and those in your household. So you definitely want to play that nurturing role to protect them at all costs. And then reach out to your elders for advice on certain situations, especially if you're dealing with affidavits. A lot of people have been sending affidavits as individuals. And cosmologically, sometimes you're put in conditions where you have to be the only one. But in this day and age, it's not wise to do things by yourself. That's why it's very important that you seek that advice. It's a good time with this transit, this moon in Gemini, making this trine to Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, to reach out to your elders and your grandparents and visit them, honor them and respect them while you still have them. And it's not a bad idea to go visit a museum or go to the library to collect some information or facts for some aid in this big process. You might need more information or intel to the affidavit you might be writing, or whatever it might be, but you definitely want to reach out and use your sources. And since we have this Saturn theme, you definitely want to reach to some old reliables like a museum or a library. On Thursday, you have a new moon in Gemini, which is during this annular solar eclipse. You have the new moon in Gemini that conjuncts the sun. In Gemini, you have the new moon in Gemini that conjuncts Mercury. Okay, so there's a lot of conjunctions taking place in Gemini. This is Gemini season. This is a definite time of human expression. This is the sign of man. The new moon in Gemini in conjunct Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. So this can definitely be tough, hard aspect if you're not using your tools that you already have at your disposal. You have the sun in Gemini, which will be conjunct Mercury. Again, a lot of conjunctions in Gemini taking place. And the downside, of course, this is a time where you're going to, on Thursday, look at unfinished business. Look at things that's not followed through on, unfinished projects, broken promises. This is a time to try to get back at those things that you left behind in the past. But you're still going to pursue that. And as you do, you're going to have some challenges along the way, because you'll have fog lights from this Pluto, and it's going to fog things up as you try to dive deeper into the situation, get more earth and practicality from the matter. It's going to be a little challenging if you don't use those tools. And some of these tools we'll talk about in a little bit, but this is definitely a call on Thursday for you to step up in your leadership. And I'll put it as a downside because some people don't want to be in a role of leadership. They just want to be leaders, meaning they don't want to put the work in. They just want to appear to know and to lead and not actually have the work behind it. So Earth is calling you right now to, or the planets, the cosmos is calling you to step up into leadership. Okay, and leadership isn't always about knowing that you're the leader and everyone looks up to you. It's about training others so that they can one day fulfill that role that you currently are holding in trust. So it's very important that you look up, you know, or assume the role of leadership, because you don't want people in position leading over you. Okay, it's your birthright to lead your own life. It's your birthright and divine right to be your own person. But when you don't, or you waive that right in law, okay, you're also sending a message to the cosmos, because the cosmos is living, and you have to face the consequences that come with that. And one of those things is you have to deal with people like Fauci, Dr. Fauci. And you'll play Fauci says with him. Fauci says, wear a mask. Fauci says, don't wear a mask. Fauci says, wear 2 masks. And then Fauci says, get an injection. Fauci says, get 3 injections. Fauci is fired. Okay, and he's fired this time around for a reason. And a lot of other people who assume the role of Fauci and Gates and any other people, not just on a global level, but in your circles, it's time to fire them. It's time for you to step up into that leadership role and start to lead your own life. The upside is that you'll have the merger of the ego and the emotions, ego being the sun expression and the emotions being the moon. And this will bring stability, because this will be a time where you'll definitely have a gnosis of the process of getting what you desire without much inner conflicts. And what I mean by that is that sometimes when you try to go after what you desire, other things may pop up along the way to knock you off that path. And it's not that the universe is saying no to you, it's just testing to see if it's authentic. Okay, and that's what true test is about, just to see if it's authentic, what you claim. And with this in mind, it's a lot of times it can be hard as a Gemini, having that principle or that energy going back and forth, because you have the angel and devil, quote unquote, on both sides, giving you both sides of the story, right? So sometimes it can be hard to pinpoint what you want, and then you have Gemini as an air sign, dealing with that air element, that mental energy. You have the ruler of Gemini in retrograde, so it could definitely be foggy. But at the end of the day, again, you have these 2 luminaries, sun and moon, join together to help solidify your decision making, in spite of the retrograde. So there's really no excuses. Thursday is a good time for you to just sit down and try to think from your solar plexus and use those mental faculties and figure out what you desire. This will give you confidence and decision making and a stronger sense of self when you do these things. Okay, so we definitely want to take the time out on Thursday during this eclipse. Again, this will help you through this eclipse period. And on Friday, June 11th, you have a waxing moon, which will enter into Cancer at 3:23 a.m., have Mars entering into Leo, and then you have a waxing moon in Cancer that will trine Jupiter in Pisces. So the upside of this is that this will give you a lot of self-confidence, and this will, be a time where this holy day, you'll definitely have a lot of zeal to get things done. As far as charisma, courage, and the will to fight on, this will definitely be a plus for you. This Mars entering Leo, this definitely gives you a strong will, and it makes you more magnetic towards people. The most ambitious people in the world at this time, just because you have this Mars entering into Leo, is in a good position. Fire meets fire, and sometimes it's okay to meet things with fire, meet fire with fire, especially when it's for a good cause. And this is the week. This is Friday. This is giving you the opportunity to be more outgoing if you're an introvert, more generous if you're generally selfish, more friendly if you're standoffish, and it will increase your popularity on that day. Okay, so you definitely want to look out for this energy. And on Friday, that holy day, definitely use the energy of that Mars for that confidence and fight. Okay. So Saturday, Saturn day, the last day of the week, we have a waxing moon in Cancer, which will conjunct uh, Venus in Cancer. And you see here 12 and 15 degrees. You have a waxing moon in Cancer that will sextile Uranus in Taurus. Okay. And this waxing moon in Cancer in conjunct Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. So the downside to all of this is that you have to be careful of manipulators during this day and time. Beware of rejection, and be more accepting of the rejection, because sometimes you can turn a blind eye to that no, because you're so delusional, and you don't want to be caught up, especially during this time, thinking something more into the situation than it actually is. So you definitely want to be cautious with that. The upside is that Prince Charming is present. Wonder Woman, she is there. So there is an opportunity for you to definitely build that relationship as far as the eros or love is concerned. And this heightens your opportunity to defend your loved ones with empathic energy during this time as well. Definitely, when it comes to the home, this is protection at its finest. Venus definitely want to protect. The moon definitely want to protect. The moon is in its home sign, Cancer. So you definitely going to use that gut feeling and intuition to step up. And this is a time where you definitely going to be more in tune with your loved ones. So the point of all of this, will you scribe or be scribed? What type of week will you have? Okay, will you continue to let others write your own history? Will you step up and take hold of the pen? And remember, the pen is mightier than the sword. So you definitely have an opportunity to rewrite your life, okay, or finish what you already started writing, okay, etch it in stone. This is your opportunity to re-merge your commitment this week. You have this ring of fire and water. Okay, this is definitely a test for you to get back on track. This is an opportunity for you to get back on track. And just because you got knocked down or you was stopped or hindered in the past, that doesn't mean that the universe said no. It could just be to test your authenticity. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and see if there are any questions or comments. Peace and love, everybody. Any questions or comments? All right. Okay, so if you like more, definitely want to, extend the offer for, the classes. We definitely cover a lot in the classes. We're going to be giving more in the courses coming up. Excited about that. We have a school that's coming up for the kindergarten through second grade. So we're definitely going to start collecting funds for that, and we're definitely going to start building for the future for the children. We got a lot of great things coming down, so I definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. If there's no more questions, comments, anything, definitely see you all next week, and we're going to be uploading more videos for the future. Peace and love, everybody.